Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm about to depart on an IFR flight, and I know many of you are wondering, do I have to file an alternate? Well, the answer is, drum roll please, yes and no. Well, that about wraps up our information on alternates. Join us next time. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. Welcome back to the Epic Flight Academy. Now remember, there are 3 keys to your success in this course. Number 1 is to be enrolled in Epic's online instrument course and studying the associated material. Number 2 is watching these videos with yours truly. And number 3 is to be sure to review all of this content with your CFII instrument flight instructor. So, do I need an alternate or not? The answer lies in FARs 91, 153, 167, and 169. The answer could be yes or no, depending upon how you approach it. So, let's start at the beginning. 91, 153. Now, if you have studied the FARs and started to master them by use of the table of contents, as I've taught you in the private pilot course, then you're saying to yourself, VFR rules are 91, 151 through 165, and IFR rules are 91, 167 through 199. So how does 153 apply to IFR? We'll see that connection in just a moment. Meanwhile, what is 153? It states the information required on a VFR flight plan and includes things such as the aircraft ID, the aircraft type, name and address of the pilot, time of departure, proposed route, proposed altitude, and the number of persons on board, and fuel on board stated in hours. Now, hold that thought. Now, I want you to jump to the instrument flight rules and look at 91, 167. So you're looking at that and you're saying, hey, this still doesn't talk about flight plans or alternate. It talks about fuel requirements. Aha! It's all about fuel. Notice that it tells us that to operate IFR, we need enough fuel to, number 1, get to our destination. Thank you, Captain Obvious. And then number 2, fly to an alternate, except as provided in paragraph B. And then number 3, fly for an additional 45 minutes. Well, now we're getting down to it. What is this mysterious exception in paragraph B? Well, in 91, 167, paragraph B, it tells us that flying to an alternate does not apply if these 4 things are in place. Number 1, our airport of intended landing has an instrument approach procedure in accordance with Part 97. Number 2, appropriate weather forecasts that tell us from 1 hour before to 1 hour after our ETA that, number 3, we have at least a 2,000-foot ceiling and not or And number 4, the visibility will be at least 3 statute miles. And this, folks, is where we find the reference to the 1-2-3 rule. The 1-2-3 rule is referring to 91-167B. The 1 being appropriate weather forecasts that tell us 1 hour before and 1 hour after our ETA. The 2 being that we have at least 2,000 foot ceiling and, not or, and the 3 being that we have at least 3 statute miles of visibility. So you see, this makes sense. What 91-167 is all about is not running out of fuel. And so what about our third regulation, 169? It talks about what must be included in our IFR flight plan. Notice, we must include the flight plan information from 91-153. Aha! There is our 91-153 reference. And we must include our planned alternate airport. And again, here in 91-169, we see the same exception as described in 91-167 about how the alternate is not required if we meet those 1-2-3 weather minimums. And of course, the airport has an approved instrument approach procedure. So, coming full circle, do I have to file an alternate on my IFR flight plan? Now, following the logic of the FARs as printed, the answer is no. If, and this is a big if, these 4 things apply. Number 1, our airport of intended landing has an instrument approach procedure in accordance with Part 97. Number 2, appropriate weather forecasts tell us that 1 hour before to 1 hour after our ETA that we have. Number 3, at least a 2,000 foot ceiling, and, not or, and number 4, visibility will be at least 3 statute miles. So looking at it from the other direction, do I have to file an alternate on my IFR flight plan? One could say, yes, always file an alternate unless, and this is a big unless you have these weather minimums. Appropriate forecasts from 1 hour before and after our ETA tell us we have at least a 2,000 foot ceiling and, not or, and the visibility will be at least 3 nautical miles. So this raises a few questions. First is a question of decision-making and ADM. Do you see how important this decision-making process is to your flight and its safe completion? And do you see how critical your attitude toward this is here? Now, I want you to discuss this with your CFII. And a second important question: if my airport of intended landing has an instrument approach procedure approved by Part 97 and a forecast of 3 statute miles visibility, but a 1,000 foot ceiling, do I need an alternate? Remember, we must have at least a 2,000 foot ceiling and, not or, and a visibility of at least 3 statute miles. So, yes. And a third question that may be raised: what must the minimum weather be at my alternate? Now, there is a good question. For this question, I want you to stay in 91-169 and read a little bit further. Now proceed to paragraph C, as in Charlie. Now we see that, again, ceilings and visibilities apply. So let's say I need an alternate, and I select an airport that has a localizer, a VOR, and an LP approach. These are all non-precision approaches. Therefore, I see in 91-169, paragraph C, that this airport must be forecast for at least an 800-foot ceiling and a 2-mile visibility at my ETA. Not 1 hour before and after, but at my ETA. Or let's say I need an alternate airport again, and this time I select an airport that has a VOR, a localizer, an ILS, and an LPV approach. This airport has precision approaches. Therefore, I see in 91-169 Charlie that this airport must be forecast for at least a 600-foot ceiling and 2 statute miles of visibility at my ETA. Again, not 1 hour before and after, but at my ETA. Okay, I think we have this flight well in hand, but my student is really thinking and using their excellent ADM and is planning for all possible outcomes. So they ask, imagine if we got to our airport of intended landing and had to go to our alternate. Okay, why? Let's say it got socked in with fog and it's got a 100-foot ceiling and a half-a-mile visibility. Okay, our alternate has some precision approach procedures, so the minimum weather has to be 602 at our ETA. All right, see, pretty sharp student. We fly to our alternate and find the weather to be 500 overcast and 1 statute mile visibility. Now what? First of all, you've arrived at your alternate that has a precision approach. Shoot that approach and land at your alternate airport. Secondly, as part of your weather planning, which we will discuss in some upcoming videos, you have already planned where the nearest VFR weather is. Now, discuss this and other scenarios with your CFII and fly them in the FTD. Now, back to my excellent student, who again is really thinking and using their excellent ADM, is planning for all possible outcomes. So they ask, well, could there be a situation where the alternate minimums of 802 for non-precision approaches and 602 for precision approaches might not apply at a particular airport? Well, let's ask our viewers. Think of the complexities of modern airports and what do you think? And if you answered yes, you're correct. So, how will we know if the airport that we have selected to be our alternate has standard 802 and 602 alternate minimums, or something non-standard? Well, the FAA makes us aware of airports with non-standard alternate minimums by the use of this symbol, the black triangle with the white A inside of it. Now, here we're showing an RNAV approach to the Ormond Beach Airport with the briefing strip expanded. What we'll do in this case is look in the terps in section M as in Mike, and determine what those alternate minimums actually are. Then we decide if that's going to work for us on this flight. Simple. And again, if you've been following along in my videos, you know that I stress the use of the table of contents. Well, here's the terps, and here is what the terps table of contents looks like. Now, looking at section M, I see IFR alternate airport minimums listed by airport. Now, my extremely smart instrument student has two more questions. Might there be airports where alternate minimums are not authorized? Yes, and that would look like this. Notice it shows the white A in the black triangle, and then it says NA. And you can see that. That symbol means the IAP may not be used as an alternate due to, and they'll give you an explanation here. Well, what if every approach at my alternate airport that I've selected has alternate NA, or alternate not authorized? Please look in FAR 91-169, again, paragraph C, this time item 2, and see where it says the airport may still be used as an alternate if the ceiling and visibility minima are those allowing descent from the MEA, approach, and landing under basic VFR. How about walking through a simple scenario for practice? Okay, let's say that you have a flight planned to Ocala, Florida, KOCF, and you have listed Daytona Beach, KDAB, as your alternate. Now, in our scenario, you have an ETA at KDAB, your alternate, at 0200 UTC on the 24th. And your Cessna 172 is equipped with ILS and VOR DME. Now, given this METAR and TAF, the question is, can KDAB, KDAB, be listed as an alternate? Let's ask our super smart instrument student. So, given the standard alternate minimums, can we list KDAB as an alternate? Yes, we can list it as an alternate. And given the winds of 040, we are planning for ILS 7 left. Okay. Anything else to consider? Yeah, what about alternate minimums? When I look at the ILS 7 left, I see an A in a black triangle. Good question. Let's look it up. Now, if we look in section M of the terps for Daytona Beach, here is what my instrument student finds. So, using KDAB as our alternate, Our new alternate minimums for 7 left will be 702, so long as the tower's open. Yeah, you got it. So that about wraps up our information concerning alternates? Yep, it sure does. Well, folks, we'll see you next time.